Hello, welcome everyone. We are just waiting a couple of more minutes for everybody to join, and then we will start. Okay. Okay, what do you think? Should we start?
Yep, I think we're good to go.
Perfect, perfect. So again, welcome everyone. My name is Alexandra. I'm the Money Counselor at the Mo Money Financial Literacy Resource Center, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to this presentation today. I'm going to start with land acknowledgement. I acknowledge that Mohawk College is situated on the traditional and unceded territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe nations within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon, One Pond agreement, and is currently home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island. Now, I just want to share with you briefly what is Mo Money and what we do at Mo Money. So Mo Money is a student money management center, and we are focused on two goals. The first one is to help students develop critical financial skills. And our second goal is to provide students with the resources and training to use those skills. How can we do that? So we offer one-on-one money counseling sessions. If you want to discuss your specific financial situation, you can book an appointment with me. And this is a free, confidential, and personalized meeting where you will learn some money management skills, such as setting goals or creating a budget or making a plan to pay off your debt or fixing your credit and much more. So this is the first service we offer at Mo Money, one-on-one money counseling sessions. We also offer events and workshops like this one. We are constantly planning new workshops to help you with your money management process, the learning of new money management skills. So please keep an eye on our website and our social media because we are constantly, as I said, planning new workshops. Finally, we offer some financial resources. If you go into our website, you will see a page with a lot of financial resources, calculators, and tools to help you with your money management. We also offer the Money Matters module. So this is a module that you will find in My Canvas. That module has a lot of different topics regarding money management, from understanding your money personality to making a budget, making a big purchase, or even starting a business. So take a look of that module, and I know that you will love it. How can you connect with us? So first of all, you can follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and also YouTube. You can complete the Money Matters module, as I just said, is in My Canvas. You can book an appointment with me if you want a one-on-one help, and you can join us for an event, or sometimes we go to your classroom because some faculty request a workshop, so we may visit your classroom. what are the benefits of attending our workshops? So in addition to learning new skills and information to better understand and manage your finances now and in the future, you will be able to add this session to your co-curricular record. So for those of you that don't know, the co-curricular record, CCR, is a tool for students to track these type of experiences or any program that or event that is not formally related to your programs of study. The CCR can be used on and off campus when applying for jobs, awards, scholarships, and to build your resume. You need to register your attendance. So Deb is going to leave you the link on the chat. So if you register, then your this workshop is gonna be included in your CCR. Prices, we have a lot of prizes. CFE has been very generous in offering a chance for all of you to be entered into a draw to win one of 4 Tim Hortons gift cards. You just need to complete the pre and post survey to be entered into the draws. And if you attend several of our Wealthy Wednesday sessions, your name will be entered into a draw to win $250 cash. Finally, if you attend 4 out of 6 of our Wealthy Wednesday sessions, you will be eligible to earn a financial advocate badge. Now, I'd like to pass it over to Hibo from the Mohawk Student Association. She has some exciting news for us.
Thank you very much. It's tough to follow up after all those lovely prizes, but I'll make it worthwhile, hopefully. First off, I would like to say thank you so much for having me here to talk about our Clubs and Communities program, and also a very happy International Women's Day, I should say. So exciting things all around. So as Alexandra mentioned, my name is Hibo, pronouns she, her. I'm from the MSA, that's your on-campus best friends when it comes to services, events, and clubs. So there's lots of different pathways to engage with our entire organization, but today I'm specifically talking about our Clubs and Communities program. With that being said, oftentimes we get folks that are unsure of what a club is and what a community is. So I'll quickly just define both just so we have an idea and talk about the exciting opportunities that I would like to share. So when it comes to a club, it's all student-centered, which means that the students are leading the club and they're participating in the club and they're organizing the club. So it's really exciting, and there's lots of support pieces there for like funding and promotion and staff support. But in terms of kind of the core of a club, it's folks connecting with a shared interest. That interest could be a financial literacy club is what we're pitching today, but there are some that of course exist as well. So we have a book club, a chess club, a badminton club. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what a club is. However, a community differs as a community is built on a shared identity. Still student driven. However, some examples would be our Islamic student community, our Christian student community, our Hispanic student community. So hopefully that gives us a little bit of an idea of kind of the distinction between those two. But what I would love to propose, given the theme of this workshop, is a financial literacy club. We know that money management is quite the hot topic. I know when I was a student, I was trying to find the best ways to really stretch my budget, whether that's grocery shopping or maybe looking into the future and talking about investments, etc. So it's really cool to explore some of these topics with other students alongside the partnership of Mo Money. And that's really what we're hoping to drive, is having a club that is centered around that student experience and that collective thought around money management and financial literacy. So with that being said, I'm happy to share that there are some students that are interested in starting the club, which is really exciting. So we're really hoping that this idea blooms very soon. With that being said, we're also looking for leadership. So when it comes to a club, as mentioned, it's all student driven. So there's students that are the president, the event planners, the promotion planners, etc. And those positions still need to be filled. So if anyone is interested in participating, whether a member or a leader, I'm going to put our email in the chat. And I'm also going to add a link to our clubs and communities website. And this link is super helpful for two reasons. One, it breaks down how to start a club and community, but also it provides a list of our clubs and community directory. So that directory is super important because you get a full list of all the 22 clubs we support right now, as well as any incoming, so any clubs that are in the works. Aside from that, if you have any questions, please let me know. Again, email is in the chat. Happy to help and support. But again, thank you so much for allowing us to participate and pitch this club idea.
Thank you, Hibo. I'm not going to pass it over to Lindsay from Alumni. She also has really good information to share with all of us.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's great to see so many names in attendance today. So my name is Lindsay Diamond, pronoun she, her, from the Alumni Relations Office. So I guess I can preface this as we'll be your best friends after you graduate from Mohawk. And for any grads who are in the audience today, welcome. So I'm here to speak to both students and recent and grads. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the class of 2023 grad send-off. So this is targeted to any student who is graduating this this year. So you're in your final semester. What does that mean? So this program is all about helping with that transition. So we're giving away some fun prizes. We have a free gift pickup and professional headshot days set up at all of our campuses. So please check out our website. So it's mohawkcollege.ca/grad sendoff. The website is jam-packed full of some great information. So it's kind of everything you need to know as you're finishing up your last semester here on campus and transitioning into what does that look like after you're done Mohawk. I'll put that link in the chat in just a moment. So if I can go next slide. And then for everyone in our audience today, it's super important that you stay connected with alumni. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's at Mohawk Alumni. Follow us. Everything that we do, we post on social media. We're always highlighting fun stories and perks and stuff. So there's so many great services that we have available. So it's really, we take care of you after you graduate. So check it out. Visit our website, mohawkcollege.ca/alumni. And I look forward to staying connected with everyone. And then on to our feature presentation. So I'm going to pass it over to Marvin and the CFE staff. So thank you very much, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm just going to stop sharing, Marvin, then you can share your screen.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. We have a lot of people right now, 35, 34 people. So my name is Marvin Largo. I finished my course in supply chain management last year in October in Mohawk College. I have a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, but I also used to teach in Colombia to technical schools and technologies, English, math, and some programming. I also used to teach high school math. And well, that's how I paid my bachelor's back in Colombia and saved money to come here to Canada to study at Mohawk College and then to work here, right? So right now, well, I'm part of the alumni of Mohawk College, and I will present to you this webinar. So I hope everyone had the chance to do the pre-survey. We have it here. I'm going to try to paste it again. So please, if you haven't, just go ahead and do it. So I'm gonna begin sharing my screen. All right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Just one sec. All right. One moment. Just one moment. Sorry, I'm having an issue here. With the presentation. Now, but I don't know why is it not okay. Just one moment. All right, perfect. So now why can I? Okay, there you go. Sorry about that. Was just having an issue here. All right, perfect. So understanding income tax. Okay, perfect. So first of all, we are going to talk about what is this type of presentations that the CFEE is doing around Canada. So basically, they are trying to help students around Canadian colleges just to help understand more about financial education. So this is not the only presentation or webinar that they do. They have several other ones. They did a survey in order to help to support financial education, right? So we live in a complex and financial world. So things like credit cards, student loans, also tax, those are questions that all the students have around Canada. So they just partnered with universities around the country and they just developed these webinars for students. Right. Actually, the surveys found that we need a healthier attitude around money. Right. We need to increase control over our money and reduce anxiety and stress about money. That's our main goal as students, because I know when I understand as an international student, sometimes we need to pay way more money than Canadian students. So that means in this case that this can stress us a lot. So what are we talking about today? So we are going to talk about the Canada's tax system, which is very different from the one that we have in most other countries. Here, the more you make, the more you pay. So that's called tax brackets. Also, we are going to talk about tax returns for students, deductions and credits, and tax strategies, ways to reduce taxes. So after this workshop, we will be able to minimize taxes by understanding credits and deductions, take advantage of tax efficient government saving programs. Then, well, we are going to be able to know understand different sources of investment and incomes that are taxed in Canada. Right. So first of all, we are going to understand how Canada's tax system is and how it works. All right. So why do we pay taxes? Basically, we pay taxes because when we join everyone's money, we are going to be able to pay for health insurance, for roads, for every single service we have in a federal or in a provincial aspect. So that's why it is important to pay taxes, because we are going to be able to build a better country to live in. So taxes are payments that we make to the governments. So let's say Canada is a federal country. So that means every province has they can charge taxes too. All right. So federal taxes are called GST, right? That's the 5% of everything you buy in Canada. It goes to the federal government. And then we have the provincial sales taxes, or PST, that it's different in between all of the provinces, right? So for Ontario specifically, it's 8%. So 5 plus 8 is going to be 13%. That's called HST, or harmonized sales tax. That's what we pay every single time we go to McDonald's and we buy a $10 meal. So we are going to pay taxes on that. It's going to be $1.3 in that case, because it's 13% here in Ontario at least. So where does the money go? Basically, here is like an example of where every dollar go. So we can see that out of all of the taxes we pay, right, 16% or 16 cents out of every dollar go to health department agencies. We also know here that 15% go to elderly benefits, 6.6% go to employment, 7% go to children's benefit. Canada Health could be 12%, which is really important here in Canada, because not like in the States or some other countries, well, we have the benefit that we have an universal health system. So that's a really great advantage of this country, that with the taxes we pay, we also are paying for our health, healthcare. All right, so here is like just a way to visually see where every single penny goes to in this case in Canada. All right, so the Canadian income tax system, all right, so it's progressive. That means the more you make, the more you pay. In the federal part, so we are going to pay 15% for the first $53,000, right? And we are going to get up to 33% on taxable income over $235,000. So that means people that are considered poor or low income in this case are going to pay way less in percentage as a person that is a manager or a CEO in a huge company, which is really important because it's going to maintain a certain equilibrium in between the middle class And well, actually all of the classes, you know what I mean? Low income people, middle income, and high income people, well, they are going to maintain certain equilibrium in between. So that's going to be fair for everybody. All right. So in this case, those are the federal taxes, but provincial taxes are in addition, like they are different, right? They are going to be different. So the highest marginal rate you can pay in Ontario, in this case, is going to be 53.53%, which is the sum of adding the federal tax and the provincial tax. All right, so we can see that a little more in this Excel presentation. So we are going to see that if you make less than $53,000, you're going to pay to the federal government, you're going to pay 15% out of that taxes. So for the first $49,000, you're going, at least in Ontario, you're going to pay 5% of that of that money. So let's say you're making $49,000, so you're going to pay up around 20.5% if you sum both federal taxes, federal plus provincial tax in Ontario. So remember, or we have to make sure that we understand this. So do you see that between the federal income tax and the provincial income tax, there's a difference in between the first gap? So the first bracket, sorry. So 49,000 and 53,000, so it's around $4,000. Those $4,000 that are different from here are going to be charged on the next bracket, which means only those $4,000 are going to be charged out of 9.15%. That's really important to understand. All right. So it's not that, oh, every single time I get a raise, I'm going to pay all of my money with that bracket. No, you're going to up to $53,000, you're going to pay 15% to the federal taxes, out of the federal taxes. And then every dollar over that bracket, then you're going to pay 20.5%. I don't know if that is clear, if anyone has a question on that, because it could be really confusing the first time you see this. So somebody's asking, can we get a copy of a presentation after today? Yeah, actually, I believe when you subscribe to the webinar, there is a copy of this presentation. All right, so I'm gonna stop here. We are going to see, I'm going to send to the chat a link of an Excel sheet that we can all use to see this in a very visual way. Just give me one sec. So for those who are in a computer, in a laptop or a computer, please just open this file or make a copy of it. And then just give me one sec to share this. All right, so can you see my screen? Hello. Can anyone confirm if you see?
Yes, we can
Okay.
see your screen actually.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much. All right. So let's do some calculations using 2022 tax tables. Remember that taxes are in Canada are made out of from the 1st of January the 1st to December the 31st, right? And then you have from January the 21st to April the 30th to present your taxes to the government. All right, so that means that you have 2 months right now to present your taxes. If you don't file your taxes before April the 30th, then the government can take 5% out of your deductible taxes. So if you do it on May, you're going to be charged 5%. For every month after May, they are going to charge you 1% extra. So if you do it in June, you're going to be charged 6%. If you do it in July, you're going to be charged 7%, and so on and so on and so on. So you gotta be really careful with that, because you can be fined. You can have a really huge amount that you need to pay if you are not careful with that. I don't know if there are some questions in the chat about that. Okay. All right. So coming back to this part of the presentation. So let's just clarify what these terms can be, because something that's really confusing about this matter is that they use a lot of acronyms, right? So we gotta be careful to understand every single acronym that we have here, right? So here we have the CPP, which is the Canadian Pension Plan, right? This example is a person that's earning $60,000 a month. So this CPP means Canadian Pension Plan. So this is the percentage that we are paying if we make $60,000, right? Of course, you are going to have access to this file. I sent you through the chat so you can play with your income, right? Your personal income. So if you see, if we change these two, holy cow. Oh, because this is the one that it's on view only. Just give me 1 sec. All right, so we will play with this Excel, with this file, but just let me explain. All right, so EI stands for employment insurance. That's an insurance everybody has to pay in order, if you get unemployed, then you can go to a government and then you can ask for some of the savings you have on this. So it's an insurance you have just in case. Also, you have the RRSP, which stands for Registered Retirement Savings Plan. So that's for retirement, right? So this is the amount you should pay if you are making $60,000 a month. And here is the interesting part, right? Or the thing you gotta be really careful with, because in Canada, let's say you have everything, all of your slips, you made $60,000 in this year, and you paid your taxes, right? But there are some benefits and some tax returns that you can ask for, right? So that means that when you file your taxes, if you paid more, then the government will give you more, it will give you back money. In the case of international students, in the case of every single student, not only international, but also Canadian students. So you can get out of the tuition you paid, you can receive back certain percentage of that amount. So that means in this specific case, using this amount, $60,000, this person will be able to get, should pay 9.07%. That's the average tax rate. That's what he has to pay to the federal government and also to the provincial government. That difference in between those average tax that he's paying, yeah, which is what he owes, and then the benefits, he or she is going to have back this amount. All right. So in this case, he could be able to ask for $2,900 back. All right, do we have any questions on this? Hello? Okay, perfect. All right, so remember what I told you about the provincial bracket and the federal bracket. So you see there's a difference in between them, $49,000 and $53,000. So if you notice, all right, if you notice here, this person will be charged 5% out of the first 49,000. And then for those 4,000, he's going to be charged 9.15%, but only for those 4,000 extra he's making, right? Of course, in this case, it's more. He's making 60,000, so he's going to be charged. He's going to be charged the difference between 60,000 and $49,000. This is the amount that he's going to be charged for. All right. So it's not that, oh, I'm going to make $100,000 and then I'm going to be charged a ton of money just because I'm making that. No, you're going to be charged out of every bracket, right? So up to 53,000 for the federal government, you're going to be charged 15%, and so on and so on. If you pass the bracket, then only the money that surpassed that, it's going to be charged. So I have a question here. I don't know if Craig can help me with this one. I bought a laptop for my studies from Canada. Can I add that to my tax records? Hello, Craig?
Yeah. You typically can't expense things from on your education for a laptop now. Eduardo's saying yes. You can get a tax credit for your tuition, but I'm not aware of getting a tax deduction for buying a laptop. So, Eduardo, you want to comment more on that, or?
So for what I understand on this, it's you can only get taxes back when you pay something, when you're giving money to the government, specifically when you're working, when you're receiving money from an employer in Canada, on when you are self-employed, or when you pay for your tuition, right? So that's when you are going to get money back, not when you buy goods, or when you buy a laptop, or when you buy your groceries. No, because those are the taxes that we were talking about at the beginning. So the GST, good and services taxes, which is the federal, and the PST, provincial sales taxes. So those are sales taxes. So you're not going to get back money out of the things you buy in a store, but you will get money out of the tuition you paid, especially if you're an international student. So, okay, perfect. All right. All right. So why is it important to file your taxes, even if you are not making any money right now? Because that will give you also, that will help you with your status here in Canada. That will demonstrate to IRS that you have bounced to Canada, right? So you can also attach that as an extra when you're applying for a visa extension or for your permanent residence, in this case, just for international students. So it is really important to show bounce to the country, So in this case, it's really good. Also, you can get a lot of money. And this is something you gotta talk specifically with tax expert, right? But in certain cases, people play. Some students play with that tuition they are paying to Mohawk. So let's say you're taking a 2-year program. That means if you are international, you're going to pay around $40,000, which you will get a lot of tax returns out of that. So some people don't file that specific tax this year, but save it for the next one, right? So that means by the end of the program, they are going to have a ton of money saved, a ton of money saved in taxes. So we gotta be really smart with this, and we can also make sure that we are going to have back we are going to get back the money when we need it, right? Because sometimes you just deduct your taxes and then you spend it, and then you go like, I should have saved that money, right? So okay, perfect. So you got to be really careful. So the government will give you, sorry, your employer will give you a form or a slip called the T4. The T4 is a slip that every employer has to deliver that to the CRA, which is the Canada Revenue Agency. In this case, the one that makes sure you pay your taxes. So that T4 is the one that will show how much you pay through the year. So every single employer you had, if you worked for Mohawk, if you worked for McDonald's, Tim Hortons, for whatever employer, they need to send that to the CRA before February 28th. Right? So that means you will have everything. You will have everything you paid on taxes. So you can have that account. You can make that count, sorry, of what you have paid last year, and of course how much you have right to. With the Excel sheet we provided you, you can also help yourself to do it. All right, so who can do the taxes? You can do it for yourself, but also you can pay to an expert, right? Also you can ask for someone that you trust, but be really careful because you're going to give your SIN number to a person. So if they have your SIN number, they have everything they need to do whatever they want with your accounts on your money, right? So like I told you, so there are certain acronyms that you need to be aware of. Like I told you, RRSP means stands for Registered Retirement Savings Plan, right? So you can get deductions from your income on this, right? I believe we are getting some questions here. Just give me one second. When I'm getting a driver's license.
Hey, Marvin.
Hello, yeah.
Marvin, don't worry about the questions going on in the chat right now. We'll
Okay.
do our best to try to keep up with those. And if people could be putting their questions into the Q&A, that'll help keep it much more
smooth.
And we'll try to answer later on.
Perfect. All right. So, okay, we are going to see part of a video. This video is from the States. So it's not necessarily 100% for Canada, but it's also really similar. The system is really similar. So we will see the first part of this video.
Filing taxes is really nobody's idea.
Just one sec, because I believe it's not sharing properly. Can you see the video? No. Just give me one moment.
Good time, but one small filing taxes is really nobody's
Can you hear? Sorry.
It's frozen.
idea of a good time.
But can you hear? Can you hear the video?
The volume is very low, Marvin.
Okay, one second.
Filing taxes is really nobody's idea of a good time, but one small joy you can get from it is in watching your tax bill go down as you add in deductions and credit. But what exactly is the difference between a tax deduction and a tax credit? Aren't they kind of just interchangeable? While both can be good for your final tax return, they are very different. First up, let's look at tax credits. A tax credit reduces your overall tax liability. So if you have a $1,000 tax credit, that means you no longer owe $1,000 on your taxes. A tax deduction reduces how much of your income gets taxed. Let's say you have a $1,000 tax deduction. It is applied to your top income tax bracket. So if you made $55,000 last year, your top tax bracket was 22%. That deduction means that $1,000 of your income won't be taxed. So you save that 22%, which would equal $220. This all makes tax credits sound pretty great, right? Most of the time, yes, but there are some catches. Many tax credits aren't refundable. What that means is, let's take this $1,000 tax credit again. But let's say you only owe the IRS $600. You don't get that extra $400. Not all tax credits are non-refundable, but many popular ones, like the lifetime learning credit, are non-refundable. Some examples of refundable tax credits include the earned income tax credit and the child tax credit. So if your $1,000 tax credit is refundable, non-refundable, and you owe $600, that means you will get that $400 as part of your return. Deductions are a little different. Everybody gets a standard deduction, which is called.
Right, here's the part where it becomes different from the states. So, but the first part of the video, it's the one that it's really important for us right now. Right, so I'm gonna share it again, my presentation. So, right, so some key takeaways of this part that we've seen. Well, you pay your taxes, but they pay for many services you receive. That's really important to understand. This is really important because that's how everything is funded. Some scholarships, roads, public transportation, public health, right? So here in Canada, we have a progressive tax system. The more you make, the more you pay. That's also really important to hold. And taxable income matters. Make sure you learn about the tax deductions that may be available to help you reduce your taxable income, and the tax rates you can claim to reduce the amount of tax you need to pay. All right, so in this matter, it's really important, especially for those who just came to Canada like us, to make sure that you get the help of an expert. Of course, there are certain places where you can go and they file your taxes for you. They help you. Mohawk, I'm pretty sure that has the numbers and the links just for you to go there. Of course, it has to be really simple, your job, your school, and that's it. Because people, of course, that have a business, people that have employees and all of that, of course, they need something really specific and go. These services are not normally super expensive. Some people, what I've personally heard, and of course I could make a mistake on this, but I've heard could be around $200, $150, file your taxes. So I know it could be, of course, for students, it could be a little expensive, but you gotta make sure at least the first time that you do it with an expert. I believe that's what we all should do, because they can help you to see things that you don't know, and they can help you to get more money out of your tax credits and tax deductions. All right.
Hi, Marvin. Can I just interrupt for a sec?
Yeah.
I wanted to share with everyone that depending on your tax situation, if you have like a modest income and a simple tax situation, we are running a free tax clinic at Mohawk. So just keep an eye on our website. The first session is going to be this Friday, March 10th from 1 to 4. So it's happening at the MSA boardroom, so you can just walk in and we will help with the taxes. So if the tax is a simple tax situation, we can help at the college for free. With some volunteers registered with the CRA are going to be filing the taxes for our students. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem.
So you see, of course, we are not alone in this. Mohawk is worried about us. So that means that's really important. So please just take a note and make sure you go with people that know what they are doing. Of course, you can do it yourself, but it's really important to be in help, especially if you're an international student. All right, so let's move on to a specific tax issues that students need to keep in mind, right? So here's what we are going to cover. We are going to look at a few ways to reduce the taxes that are withheld from your pay, to the top deductions and credits for students, and the importance of having everything planned, or having a plan, all right? Which is really important. From the first month of the year, you should have an idea of what you are going to do for next year's taxes. All right, so ways to reduce your taxes. There are simple ways that you can do that. Of course, give the employer the accurate information. Don't lie, just because that's going to be a problem, because even if you think you're doing something good, maybe for paying less, that's probably, I mean, the CRA, they are experts on this, so they will know that you're lying, probably, if they really look and see. So if you give a wrong information, so you just simply the CRA will ask for that money back. All right, so really important, give the employer accurate information. So if you guys have any questions at the end of the webinar, we are going to try to respond to all of them. All right. So, okay. Okay. Also, really important, tell the employer if any personal information has changed. Right. So when you're starting a new job, you must complete the TD1 personal tax credit returns. That's really important. There's a federal one and there's a provincial one, right? So please tell your employer if any circumstances changes. That's not a fixed that's not a fixed paper. I mean, it's not something that cannot change. If you change your address, if you are you are going to have a child, if you get divorced, or if you get married, so those circumstances change. So you can just let your employer know, hey, I have this issue, or I have this update. So they will have to give you a new TD1, and then you will give it to them. All right. And then finally, ask the CRA to apply other tax deductions, right? So you can complete and file a T1 213 request to reduce tax deductions, but be careful with this, because you got to make sure these deductions are real, right? If you know you are going to have significant deductions in a given year,
For example, if your contributions to the registered retirement savings plans or RSP are going to be different, you can get that money back, or you have childcare expenses. So you need to make sure that you give this information to the CRA, and then you ask for those deductions, right? Every single circumstance is really different and really unique. So you gotta make sure that you're asking for the right things, because if not, then it's going to be bad for you, because then you're going to have to pay those taxes back, right? Remember, Canada is really fair, right? So that means if they have to give you back money, they will. But if you need to pay them money, they will chase you forever. And if you don't pay, then you will have a really huge problem, right? So you gotta be really careful with this. It's really good to ask for an expert. Right. So top student tax rate deductions, right? So your tuition. Tuition fees are an excellent example of a non-refundable tax rate, right? So if your tuition costs more than $100, which of course we all are paying more than $100, so then we will be able to ask for a tax rate, right? So we also can claim sorry, coming back to this point, there's a form, the T2202A, that's the one that you can file on your taxes, and they will see the deductions you can get out of that that part. All right. So also examination fees. To take a required professional exam, to obtain a recognized professional designation or license, you can get some tax from that. All right. Also, your interest on student loans, right? So you can only claim interest on student loans made to you under the Canadian Student Loan Act. That's the only way to get that money back. But that's really important for those who are, especially for those who are permanent residents or Canadian citizens. You can also claim for your moving expenses, right? So if you have to move to be at least 40 kilometers closer to your school, you can claim a tax reduction for your moving expenses. So if you move close to your, let's say you finish your high school, let's just an example, and then you're going to study in Niagara. So if you go to Niagara to live, then you can claim taxes on that. You can claim taxes on your moving expenses, but be careful with this, because international students will say, oh, I moved from Colombia, so I will get a lot of money. No, that only works if you moved inside Canada, right? So just be careful with that. So if you used to live in Montreal and now you're going to live here in Hamilton, then, well, you will get that money. But if you are moving from India or from Pakistan or from Nigeria or from Europe, you won't get that money. All right, so GST or HST credit, non-taxable credit paid quarterly up to $467,000 no, sorry, $467,000 if you're single, right? So this is only, like I said, this is more for permanent residents and citizens, right? So, but even though in case you, of course, here in this webinar are permanent residents or a Canadian citizen, so we will have this presentation for you so you can see, and you can, when you go, if you decide to go with an expert, when you go, well, you will be able to ask for this type of things. All right. So have in mind tuition, interest on student loans, especially if they are from Canada, moving expenses, and your GST, HST credit. All right. Some of us will be self-employed. That means you're going to have a company, you're going to have or deliver some services, right? Like even in a traditional sense, you're going to be a consultant, a contractor, or whatever that means. You may be able to deduct business expenses. So this is when it gets really, really, really interesting, because you cannot deduct on the on the commute expenses. If you have a car and it's owned by your company, then you will be able to claim taxes on that. So that's why you see, of course, in Canada, it's totally different, but most of the rich people, they just deduct everything from their companies. So like Donald Trump, have you ever heard that Donald Trump has $8 billion American dollars and he only pays like a minimum amount because he's getting everything? He says that whenever he pays for something, he's a brand. So he says that those are their expenses that come from from his company. Sorry, so those expenses come from his company because he's a brand. Or let's say Mark Zuckerberg, CEO and owner of Meta or Facebook, which they also have WhatsApp, they also have Instagram, they also have the metaverse. So he only makes $1 a month, which is of course a ridiculous amount. He is not making $1 a month, but he does that in order to save taxes. So there are certain benefits that you can have. You can deduct business expenses if you are the owner of a company. Canada is really open to help all of us if we are going to open a company. So because business men and women, they are the ones that hire people and that make possible that we all pay our taxes. So they get these benefits, right? All right, so yeah, this is a little bit more complex than just filing your personal taxes. So these really should have an expert. This matter should be just done with a taxes expert. But you just need to know that these exist. All right. All right, tax planning. First, start your tax planning earlier. At the beginning of every year, plan how you're going to arrange your financial affairs in order to lower your tax bill at the end of the year, right? So so we should just be careful. The first time we do it, of course, we know nothing, but every single year you are going to do it, you are going to learn. You're going to have, even if you pay to an accountant or if you get help by Mohawk, please ask for what they are doing, because that will make you understand and will make you see how to save money, right? So you gotta keep good records and receipts throughout the year of everything. I'm talking about your everything your employer gives you, or if you're self-employed, the same thing. You gotta be really careful with everything you spend. You need to organize and file your receipts, and this of course will make you taxes very easy, right? Right. Next one. Make sure you receive all tax information slips. Your T4, that's the one we just got. all the ones that are working right now, like I told you, the employers have until the 28th of February. So if you lost this slip, if you lost it, the T4, these T4s, all of them have to be on the system of the CRA, right? So accountants will have access to this. Even we would be able, in theory, to have access to these slips. So if you moved, like personally, it happened to me, I had to move. So they send the T4 to the wrong address. So I had to request my employer, but if, and he sent it to my new address, right? But in case you cannot do that, just make sure, sorry, just remember that you can download this information also from the CRA website, right? Remember, because there's a lot of acronyms here, and it kind of, personally, of course, it doesn't have to be like that for everyone, but personally, it bothers me that there's so many acronyms. So CRA stands for Canada Revenue Agency, right? So it just makes, that's the agency that will make sure you pay your taxes, just in case. All right, so decide if you need a tax preparation help. That's really important. You gotta be honest about this. If your tax return is fairly simple, for example, you only have one employer and something really simple, you can prepare it yourself using one of the many software programs they sell. But even though, like, it's better just to get help at least the first time. I believe if you are going to get something out of this webinar, is that you will need, probably will need help the first time. Just make sure you do it with the right person, and also be careful, because some friends will say it, or some family members will say, oh, that's simple, everything's simple. But everything is individual. And people at Mohawk, at least, they will know that you're students, so they will help you with the student issues, because most of us have family. Those who have family here or friends, they live in a different world than the ones that just came to Canada. Also, like, I can't stop saying this, you need to be really careful who you give your information to. So if you give your SIN number, they will be able to access everything and do whatever they want with that number. So be careful. Don't go to a corner and just that weird person that's saying that it's going to do the tax for you. That might be a really wrong, bad idea. Right, so again, so you should prepare your summaries and organize your receipts before going to a tax professional. Summarize your different sources of income and your deductions, right? So everything before going there, you should prepare everything. Remember, deadline to file taxes is April the 30th for regular people. June 15th for self-employed or the owners of the company, right? So all taxes due owed by April the 30th, right? Again, penalties will begin after April the 30th, all right? So 30th, remember, 5% is going to be charged after April the 30th. Who should do the taxes? Residents of Canada who earn income. That's as simple as that. Even if you didn't earn income, you should file your taxes as zero because that's really good for you. But if you worked one day for a pizzeria and they paid you $100 that day, then you should file taxes. All right. So remember, residents of Canada and citizens, they are eligible for GST or HST refunds, right? And generate your registered retirement savings plan. International students will need to file Canadian taxes if they have earned any income, establish significant residential ties to Canada, which is something really complicated to explain in this case. This is something not very common on EC. this is something we should better. I don't know if Craig can help me explain this part. From what I know, is not something very common. Establish significant residential ties to Canada.
Sorry, Marvin, what's a specific?
So for international students, if you have earned income, you have to file your taxes. But if you establish significant residential ties to Canada, which is something very specific, I believe if you belong to the community, then you have to file taxes, even if you didn't make any money, which is something blurred that they have.
Yeah, let me, I'll find a link that helps define that from the CRA and share that in the chat with folks.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so let's continue. We're almost done with our presentation. So many people who do not have complicated financial situations will prepare and file their own tax, right? So you can do it if you know how to do it, if you have the will to do it. Softwares like TurboTax, they are sold in shoppers. You can do it, right? There's tax specialists, so beware that they could charge you, right? So most of them are not free, right? But Mohawk is offering something for free, which is here in the school or community volunteer tax centers. But if you're self-employed and if you have a company, I believe they are not going to help you. Family or peer you trust. If you trust someone, really, if you really trust somebody, then you should do it with someone you trust. So again, we are going to have some key takeaways. So first, learn about deductions and credits and try to maximize the benefits. In this case, international students, we have a great benefit, out of the tuition we pay. We are paying tons of thousands of dollars. I'm pretty sure we can get a really good deduction and credit out of that. Don't leave your taxes until the last minute. So we have until April the 30th. So we have 2 more months, like well, a month and a half, let's say. So if you wait until April 28th, you won't find a tax specialist. So be careful with that. So you can do it, possibly with help. There's a ton of YouTube videos. The CRA has a course. It's free for you to do it. But in my personal experience, you shouldn't. You shouldn't try to do it the first time yourself. At least when you get experience, then yes, do it. Go ahead, break a leg. But if not, just try to get help. All right, so we are in the final part of our webinar. So tax strategies, ways to reduce your taxes payable and keep more money in your pocket. So the important thing about filing and paying your taxes is to make sure you file your tax return and pay the required tax on time, only the required, and then you are going to get money back if you paid more through the year, right? So which tax strategies we can use? So various sources of income are taxed differently, so be careful with that. And these differences can lead to very different tax rates. And then we will talk about the tax benefits of registered retirement savings plans, RRSP, that I've been talking about through the whole presentation, and tax-free saving accounts, or TFSAs. All right. So tax treatment of investment income. All right. If you put your investments into an unregistered or account, right, you pay income taxes on the money you earn in the tax year in which the income was realized. The amount of taxes you pay depends on the type of income you have earned. Right. So interest income, you can earn interest from many sources, from a bank account and from a lot of things like bonds you have, or mutual funds, paying investments, or dividends, or okay. So all of this income is fully taxed, right? At your marginal rate, tax ordinary income. So so these have also you have to have in mind your brackets, right? So all right, this is a little bit more complicated, and it's also more when you practically when you finish your school, that you are going to be careful to make sure that you do this. This is really important to prepare for retirement, right? Okay. All right. So here's the poll. Do you have a TFSA? Please, can you please answer this question?
Give it about 10 more seconds, then I'll just share the results, Marvin.
Okay. All right, so 70% don't have a TFSA, right? And 30% do have a TFSA. All right. So in this matter, Craig, I would like to be, because I understand the figure of a TFSA, but can you please give me a hand with this specifically part? Because what I understand is a way to save money without being taxed, right? So is that correct?
Yeah, so you can put up to an annual limit into a TFSA if you meet the criteria on the slide Marvin's showing. And then the income that's earned in that account grows tax-free. So it's one of the few situations where you don't have to pay tax on income that's being earned. And so it's a great thing to take advantage of. And again, the criteria here is on the slide that Marvin's showing.
All right. Thank you very much for that. So be aware that these type of figures, of course, you can get in deep more when you begin to work, when you finish your college and you begin to work. But it's really important that by the end of your, when you are going to retire, you will get these benefits if you save money in this type of accounts like a TFSA. So you will be able to be not be taxed. So that will mean you will have more money for your retirement. Basically, those are the type of figures that Canada has in order for doing that. Also, the RRSP, Registered Retirement Savings Plan, right? So if you deposit money on this retirement plan to save for the future, you get a tax deduction for the funds deposit, right? It has a limit, but even though it's of course it's a high limit, you can reduce your taxes using this strategy, right? So if you deposit money here, you can get tax deductions, right? But the thing is, the money will be taxed when you take out the money. So it's like just pulling your taxes up to your retirement year. So you got to be really careful with this strategy. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of resources that can share with you strategies on this one. All right, so you must have earned income to contribute to an RRSP to start building this contribution, right? You have to file your income tax return. Even if you don't owe any tax, your notice of assessment will tell you how much money you can put into your RRSP each year. right? Claiming your contributions, it's just a matter of just trying to claim a tax deduction for the amount you contribute every single year. That this will help you to save money every single year. But remember, at the end of this, you will be taxed when you take out the money from your RRSP or registered retirement savings plan. So we are young, most of us. We are in our 20s or mid 30s. So most people just don't think about retirement. We don't think about how life is going to be in 30 or 40 or 50 years. So it's really important to begin saving money right now, and in a good way, right? So Canada is offering us certain ways to do it. So please make sure you begin as soon as possible, because now we are young, we are students, but probably that won't be forever. I mean, it won't be forever. We all will have to use money in the future. So just begin to investigate deeper on these type of things, right? So if you can see, we can highlight here a few of the important distinctions between investment accounts, right? So between the TFSA and the RSSP. So for the retirement, you need to have income, you need to be employed, right? For the TFSA, you don't need, right? So the RSSP, it's tax deductible contribution. You have tax deductible contributions. For the TFSA, no. But remember, in the retirement plan, you will have to pay taxes when you take out your money, right? The TFSA doesn't have that handicap, so you can take out the money, but they are tax-free. And there's a contribution room cumulative, so that means there might be gaps on that. You cannot contribute because you will be able to deduct taxes on this. So that's not like an infinitive way of taking out money of your tax every single year. So just have that in mind, right? So basically this part, so you gotta make sure that you understand how to invest your income tax. So the Canadian dividends may be taxed at a negative rate if you are in the first marginal income tax bracket, right? Capital gains are taxed at 50% of income rate. Interest income tax at a typical marginal income tax rate. And a TFSA is likely to be better option than the RRSP if you're taxable, if you're making less than $50,000. All right. So like I told you before, you will have access to all this presentation, all the notes done on this. And then I'm pretty sure this will help you a lot. In summary, so we just reviewed the Canada's tax system, Canada tax returns for students, tax strategies. So this is what we talked about today. All right. So about the Canada's tax system, yes, you pay taxes, but they pay for many services you receive. Remember that. We have a progressive tax system, and the taxable income matters. All right. Then learn about deductions and credits for students and to try to maximize the benefits. That's what we are trying to do here. Don't leave your taxes until the last minute. Please don't you wait until April the 29th. More than likely you can complete your own taxes, but be careful. Just try to get help. And finally, your tax strategies. Canadian dividends might be taxed at a negative rate. Like I said, like you gotta make sure that you use these advantages that the Canadian government gives you with these accounts, the TFSA and the RRSP. All right, so the learning outcomes of all of this. So we need to have a better understanding of how to minimize taxes, be aware and to be able to take advantage of the tax efficient government savings plans, and know how different sources of investment income are taxed, and they are taxed quite differently. So your next steps, like I told you, the taxes will be due until April the 30th. And so then just begin planning your next year, and also file your taxes this year, the 2022 taxes right now. Learn about the deductions, the credits you may be eligible. If you're young and you're making less than $50,000 a year, the TFSA is likely a better option, because that's when you will be able to save more money at the beginning. Like I told you, you should investigate deeper in this matter. This is roughly something really superficial, just for students to see how it works. So yeah, that's it. So this was the end of my presentation. Just give me one moment. So guys, thank you very much everyone for being here. We will begin with the questions and answers. Again, my name is Marvin Largo. I finished my supply chain degree last year. I'm civil engineer and I'm working here in Canada. Mohawk helped me a lot. I used to work for Mohawk, and they helped me actually to get inside my my company right now. So I really enjoy helping students that because I know that from a personal point of view that it's really tough to immigrate, to come to a different country, leave your family and begin a new life. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Marvin. Great job going through all that. A lot of things covered off in that session. So well done.
So I have to go to the washroom, so I'll be back in 1 minute. While you answer some questions, please. One second.
And if folks have questions, if you can just put them in the Q&A, we've been collectively doing our best to answer those as we've been going through. But if you have more questions, please put them into the Q&A. The post survey is available in the chat. The pre-survey was there before. Again, if you complete both the pre and post survey, you're entered into a draw to win one of 4 Tim Hortons gift cards over all of the attendees we have during this semester.
Yep. And I'm just wondering if Alexander, you could show that last slide, which has the newcomers workshop that we're holding on March 29th, and has more specific information on the income tax clinics that we're holding in partnership with the McKeel School of Business and the MSA. So we'll have that information for you to show you when Alexander gets that slide up.
Yeah, just let me try to share my screen.
The gremlins are out today.
Okay, so yeah, it's here. So a couple of things. We are offering a more specific workshop for international students presented by the Canada Revenue Agency, CRA, that is happening on Wednesday, March the 29th at noon. And as I said, we are also offering walk-ins and drop-off. So we're going to have our own tax clinic at the college. You can just walk in, bring all your documents, and one of the volunteers will file the return for you. or you can just drop off your documents to the MSA office, and then you have to pick up the return. We have an intake form that you need to fill out if you want to drop off your documents, and that intake form has all the required documents that you need to bring with you. So that is going to be available soon in our website. It's not ready yet, but it's going to be available soon. For the walk-ins, the first one is going to be this Friday from 1 to 4. You just have to show up at the MSA from 1 to 4. It's going to be the ballroom. It's G111 at the number of the room. We have 3 sessions, 3 Fridays, March the 10th, March the 24th, and March the 31st. So that's basically what we are offering this year for our students, walk-ins or drop-offs. Everything is happening at the MSA Fennel campus, but if you are on a different campus, you can drop off your documents at the MSA office, and then you can also pick up the return at the same location. That's everything. Anything else that you want to add, Deb?
No, I added some things in the chat. If we don't have the intake form available on our website, we will have them available the day of the drop-in this Friday, and you can quickly fill them out. The most important thing to remember is to try and bring all your receipts and all your tax information, all your information about earnings and what, your tax receipts from the college, rent receipts, childcare expenses. Just try and gather them all up so you have them. And that's it.
Okay. It does look like we have a couple questions in the Q&A. Marvin, do you want to take a first stab at those, or do you want help with those, or what would you prefer?
I can't read them. I don't know why. I'm trying, but
Okay, so I'll do the first one and see if you can get into that. So somebody's asking, they did initial tax calculation, and the result was 0 owed jointly with their spouse. Does this mean that he does not have to submit tax separately? If both of you have earned income, I would encourage you to file your taxes with Canadian Revenue Agency. That, like, the filing of taxes is a way that CRA uses to determine different tax credits like GST and carbon tax credits and things like that. So even if you don't owe anything, if you did have income, you should be filing taxes with the CRA.
so I have something to add to that.
Great.
If I might. So doing my investigation for this presentation, I found out that one thing is the household income. So it's the sum of everyone inside the house, and that doesn't mean that you shouldn't file. You should file individually, and the sum of everything is the household, right? So even if, like I told at the beginning or at the middle of a presentation, if you only worked for a pizzeria for one afternoon and you made $100, you have to file.
Yep, perfect. Okay, and then the second question is just, if someone arrived on January 1st and still have not worked in Canada, do they have to do taxes? Not for 2022, no. You weren't here, you weren't making income, so you don't have to worry about it for 2022. The situation for 2023 will depend on if you have any income or not.
It's exactly the same thing that happened to me. I arrived to Canada on December the 27th. So I worked, I got my SIN until January. So I was able to work until January 2022. So that meant I didn't have to do anything for 2021. So now that I've lived for a year here in Canada, this and before this April the 30th, I have to file. But if you arrive on January the 1st, 2023, you will have to file on April the 30th, 2024. There's an interesting question here. We paid fees in December. So do you mean that you paid your tuition? Yeah, right. You paid your tuition in December, so but you didn't work. Okay, that's an interesting question. So remember, as a student, you can hold those taxes as for as long as you need to. So if you need to hold them for the next year, I would encourage you to hold them for 2024. Even though, go to the experts that they have in Mohawk and ask them if you can claim out of those taxes you did on December. But in my personal case, I prefer to wait. I know it's really tempting to go, I have money there and I want it now. But if you have the chance just to wait for 2024, do it that way. If you really need to do it right now, just go ask to an expert or those people that are helping us guys in Mohawk, and then see if that is possible.
Yeah, and I just put in the chat, I put the link to Canada Revenue Agency's details on carrying forward the tuition amount. But fully agree with what Marvin's saying as far as you need some income to use that tuition tax credit. So try to hold on to that, and then you'll get more money back down the road. But there's more details in that link from the CRA website. And it looks like the next question, Marvin, do you want to take it this? How can I file my taxes and use the return to pay part of my tuition?
Okay, so if you arrive on 2022 and you're going to file your taxes before April the 30th, then when you file your taxes, they are really quick from what I know, because I haven't had the chance to do it myself, to be honest. But doing this investigation, I had to ask to a lot of people, and they told me that CRA is really fast and they send you a check to your house. Like 2 weeks or 3 weeks after you file or after they finish their process. From what I know, it's really quick, and then you can just deposit that check into your personal checking account, and then you can use that money. From what I know, I might be wrong because I haven't done it myself, but that's what I've been told.
It can be quick. Sometimes it can take more than a week. And you can also request a direct deposit. So when you file your taxes, instead of asking for a check, it's easier to provide your account information. So if you actually have a return, because filing your taxes doesn't guarantee that you're going to get a return. But if you're going to get any return, that money can be deposited into your bank account, and then you can use that money to pay the tuition. So just file and wait until you receive the money. Or when you file, you will know if you're going to have a return. And then it's going to be, sometimes it's really quick. Sometimes it can take up to a week or a little bit more to receive your money, but no more than a week, normally 10 days.
So I'm not seeing any more questions or anything in the chat. Great job, everyone. It's such a big topic. You know, it's just there's so much information. And it's not one size fits all. Everybody's different. Everybody has unique situations. So your best bet is to find a tax specialist who can answer some of those questions for you that are a little bit more complex.
You're right.
Great.
And it's I mean, in my personal experience, like I've said, I'm a civil engineer, but I don't have an expertise on this, but it's a matter that will help me a lot. So it's really important for everyone.
Yep. Okay.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Marvin. Thank you, everyone at Mohawk. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
For
guys.
attending.
And happy returns. Been waiting to say that.
Have you? All done, Deb.
Bye-bye.
All
Bye.
right, guys. Take
Take
care.
care.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.